Okay, this is our part two with Nick Barisheff. He's the founder, president, CEO of Bullion Capital Management. Nick, tell us, basically, outside of the markets, why is it a good time in this with what's happened in this economy to be looking at, gold?
Well, we've got, first of all, a huge divergence between paper assets and gold. So in total, there's 350 trillion of stocks and bonds in the world. Mm-hmm. And when you look at investment grade bullion, which are the London Good Delivery bars, there's only 1.7 trillion. So at some point in time, people start realizing that they need gold, and even if you have 5% of the 300 trillion, which is roughly 15 trillion, try and buy 1.7 trillion, the math doesn't work unless you multiply the price by 10. So that's the main anomaly. We've got a totally distorted situation of financial markets and debt. And that situation eventually has to normalize. So that's why you have huge upside. And that's why my book, $10,000 Gold, I wrote it about 5 years ago, and people thought I was crazy. How would you get 10,000? Well, it's fairly simple, because when you have investors start getting concerned about stocks and bonds, and they look for some safe haven, there's the U.S. dollar and gold. That's it. And every other asset class has gone down.
So what about looking at it in terms of just owning it as a currency? Explain that to the listeners how that works.
Well, everything else, when you talk about it's a currency, is basically everything else is a debt-based currency. Gold's the only true money there is. So, the issue is, one of the rules of investing is when you're on the precipice of a huge market decline, you just move to the side and into money. But in this case, you move into real money, which is gold. And people don't understand that. If they would get a better idea if they evaluated their investments in ounces of gold rather than fiat currency, because then they get a truer picture.
So, fiat currency, you're just talking about Canadian and U.S. or any kinds of dollars, right?
Yeah, they're basically a debt obligation and nothing more than a piece of paper. So we've gone off gold backing in 1971, and ever since then the central banks of the world have been able to print money without restraint, and they're about to do that again, big time.
Yeah.
They're talking about a $3 trillion bailout, which I can assure you is going to end up being a $6 trillion bailout.
Okay, and because of then that's all plays into the hands of gold bullion.
That's right.
So now, how do tell us about your funds, and how do you participate in the funds?
Well, you can buy the funds through just about any financial advisor in Canada. All the banks have it.
Okay, so what's the code of it?
Well, we have, if you go to our website, because we've got a lot of different classes within each fund, because if you buy more, then the management fee is lower. So there's different codes for the different classes. So
okay.
The best thing, the website is bmg-group.com.
Okay, bmg-group.com.
And it'll have all the different fund codes there.
Okay. Well, it's great talking to you, Nick. Thanks for taking the time to join us and catching up, and continued success there with the Bullion Management Group.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you, Richard.
All right.
All the best to you and your listeners.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
Okay, that was Nick Barisheff. He's the president, CEO of Bullion Capital Management Company. And remember, commissions, trailing commissions, management fees, and expenses all may be associated with mutual fund investments. The distributions are not guaranteed and they may fluctuate. Please read the prospectus before you invest. Mutual funds are not guaranteed. Their values change frequently, and past performance may not be repeated. This show is sponsored in part by BMM Management Group.